Welcome to Breaking the Silence, the podcast where real conversations meet real healing. We're your hosts, Raynea and Kelli, two women who know what it's like to walk through loss, face hard truths, and come out stronger on the other side. Together, we're breaking down walls, sharing stories, and talking openly about everything from grief and healing to love, faith, and relationships. This is a safe space for laughter, honesty, and those Me Too moments that remind us we're not alone. So grab a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, and let's journey through life together. Hey friends, welcome back to Breaking the Silence. I'm Raynea, and I'm here with my co-host, Kelli.
Hey everybody, I'm so happy to be here.
I know, it feels really good to be sitting here again. And for one, it feels like it's been forever in some ways. And then in others, that time went so fast too. So anyways, on today's episode, this is not a teaching episode. It's not a here's what we're going to do this year kind of episode. It's more like just a deep breath. Like we're sitting down together with coffee and saying, okay, what are we carrying into 2026? And what are we leaving behind?
Yes, kind of like a check-in.
Exactly. A check-in is like the perfect word for it because I think so many women are entering this year tired, not lazy, not unmotivated, just tired. And maybe you're listening and you're like, Raynea, I don't even know what I'm tired from. You just know you're carrying something. So that's what today is. It's just being honest and letting this year start gently. Alrighty, Kelli. So before we even get into the carrying and the leaving behind, I want to ask you something that I've been thinking about. When you think about women right now, the women listening, the women we know, what do you feel like they're carrying the most right now?
Honestly, I think they're carrying pressure to be okay, pressure to keep up, pressure to not fall apart. And I think a lot of women are carrying grief too, even if it's not the kind of grief people talk about.
Yes. Like grief that isn't always a funeral, you know? Sometimes it's grieving the life you thought you'd have, the marriage you thought you'd have, the version of yourself you thought you'd be. And I'm sure this even resonates even with you, like for both of us, right?
Yes, definitely. Or even grieving how safe you once felt.
Yes, exactly. That part right there. And I think women are also carrying loneliness, even when they're surrounded by people.
I think that is the worst kind of loneliness, when you feel lonely surrounded by people.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to say right here at the beginning, if that is you, you're not crazy, you're not too much, and you're not behind. You're human. And you've been holding a lot. So let's start here. with what we're carrying into 2026, because we're not walking into this year empty-handed. We're bringing things with us that matter. We're bringing what's real, and we're bringing what's been built in the dark. And for me, one of the biggest things I'm carrying into 2026 is this. I'm carrying a deeper kind of faith. Not the I have all the answers kind, because I definitely don't, but the kind of faith that holds on even when life doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. That's so good.
And I'm carrying healing, but not the kind like pressure, not the kind that says, okay, you should be over this by now. I'm carrying the kind of healing that's honest, the kind that says, I can be strong and still need help. I can miss someone deeply and still build a life. And we're carrying relationship work into this year too, because we talk about grief here, and we talk about faith, we talk about healing, but we also talk about the way we relate to people, like how we attach, how we protect ourselves, how we shut down, how we outgive, even how we chase, or we stay in things too long, or we ignore our gut. We're carrying that into this year, but we're doing it not in a way, I should say, of let's diagnose everybody kind of way.
Right. We're not doing that.
No, I think we're doing it like, hey, I do this too. Or I'm learning too. Or, hey, I'm noticing patterns too. And, you and I have talked about that before. I think this very much is because this podcast isn't about perfection.
Mm-hmm.
It's about becoming aware.
Right. And also just about being honest.
Oh my gosh, yes. Being honest. So that just makes me think, I want to say this clearly. Breaking the silence in 2026. Not that I think it wasn't before, it definitely was, but it is becoming even more a safe place, a
Mm-hmm.
place for women who are carrying loss and also carrying life. Women who are raising kids and trying to pay the bills, trying to stay healthy, trying to stay sane, and also trying to heal at the same time.
Right. As well as trying to just keep believing.
Mm, oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely. Just trying to keep believing. And I think we're carrying something else into this year too. And this matters. Like we're carrying laughter, because I think sometimes women feel guilty for laughing after loss or laughing even in the middle of pain. But laughter is not disrespect. Laughter is not denial. Sometimes, honestly, laughter is survival. Sometimes it's the medicine that we need. in the midst of everything that we're going through.
It really is.
So we're carrying into this year a few things, I should say. Real conversations. That has always been the heart of the podcast. Like, that I just wanted it to be this safe place with real conversations that you and I are both just with everybody else saying, me too, that kind of conversation. Real faith, real healing, and real laughter. So just even thinking about that, Kelli, like, and what I really envision and see for this year, what do you like? Let me ask you, what do you feel like? What do you hope women feel when they press play this year?
Mm-hmm. I hope they feel like they can breathe,
Mm,
like they don't have to pretend here, and like they can be messy and still loved.
I love that. That is like, gosh, that is so it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just bring the messy. Just come and sit with us, just like friends having a cup of coffee together, sitting, sharing the messy stuff, and yeah, and just to feel loved.
Mm-hmm.
Just basically, like I can come as I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that just right there even just makes me want to take a deep breath and just that we all get to come exactly as we are here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now let's talk about what we're leaving behind. And if you're listening, I want you to listen to this part slowly because you might hear something you didn't even realize you've been carrying. One of the first things I'm leaving behind in 2026 is performing strength.
Yes.
It's like and I could be really good at this, that I'm fine, or I've got it, or don't worry about me. And I'm not saying we fall apart every day. That's not at all what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I am saying I'm done pretending I'm okay just to make everyone else comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And I think a lot of women are leaving behind over explaining too. Like, you don't have to write a paragraph to justify your feelings. And you don't have to convince people that you're hurting. You do not have to earn compassion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so good because sometimes I think over explaining can just become exhausting.
Yes. And it's so nice to like leave that behind.
Mm-hmm.
So we're leaving behind guilt for grieving too long with quotes around it. I want you to understand, quote, too long. And
Mm-hmm.
let me say that again because somebody needs it. You are not grieving too long. You are grieving someone you loved or a life you wanted, or even a version of yourself that you miss, what you thought it would look like. And that doesn't have a neat little timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it doesn't mean you're failing.
Exactly. So I sort of want that to land there for a minute. It doesn't mean you're failing. We're leaving behind rushing through the healing process, because rushing healing, it looks like I should be over this, or I should be further along, or even I shouldn't feel this way anymore. But healing is not a straight line. It is not linear, and you're not behind. You are becoming.
Yes.
We're also leaving behind, and this is a big one. So I want you to hear this. We're leaving behind self-abandonment. And that one is a big one, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
because so many women have learned to survive by disappearing. Like it might look like staying quiet, not having needs, or maybe, like not rocking the boat or being easy. But in 2026, we're not abandoning ourselves to keep peace.
Woo, that'll preach.
I'm going to preach it, girl. I'm just going to tell you how it is. Okay. So, but seriously, we're not preaching today. We're just like literally telling the truth, though.
Well, that is the gospel, right?
Yeah. And it does preach quite well, right?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, so we're leaving behind confusing things like anxiety with love. So let's break that down a little bit and talk about it a little bit. If love makes you feel constantly panicked, constantly uncertain, or constantly like you're about to lose someone, we're speaking truth here. So I just want to say that might not be love. That might be attachment wounds. It might be old trauma. It might be your nervous system begging you for safety. And we're going to talk about that this year without shame.
And definitely, I agree.
Okay, Kelli, what do you think, what do you think women are afraid to admit right now? Like, I mean, if they were truly being honest with themselves, what do you think they're afraid to admit?
Um, I think they're afraid to admit they're exhausted,
Mm,
and not just physically, but emotionally. Like they're tired of being the strong one, tired of being the one who holds it all together, and tired of being the one who checks on everybody else.
gosh, yes. Like, I could not agree more. I think that is so powerful what you even just said there. I also think they're afraid to admit that they don't feel safe. Like, sadly, even in relationships, even in friendships, or they don't feel safe being fully themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Because I think sometimes transparency is so hard because I think we're afraid sometimes of people seeing the true version of ourselves and being accepted.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that, I want to say something to that woman right now. You do not have to earn safety. You don't have to perform for love. And if by any chance you've been living in survival mode for years, it only makes sense that rest feels unfamiliar. It makes complete sense that peace feels suspicious. But we're leaving behind survival as a personality.
Mm-hmm.
We're leaving behind the belief that healing means you never feel it again. Because healing doesn't mean you don't miss them. Healing doesn't mean you never cry. Healing means you stop drowning every time the wave comes. Healing means you can breathe again. So, how are we approaching healing this year? We're approaching it with faith and honesty. We're not choosing one or the other because I think sometimes people feel like they have to choose. Like, well, if I have faith, I shouldn't be sad. Or if I trust God, I shouldn't feel anxious. Another example would be if I'm healed, I shouldn't miss them. No, that's not really how it is. Faith and feelings can coexist. And we have talked about this many times before. Two things can coexist at the same time. And so I'm here to tell you that faith and feelings can coexist.
Absolutely. And I think it's such a misconception that they can't.
Right. And I think that when we're approaching healing with a new kind of question too, more like not how do I fix myself, which I think a lot of people focus on, like they think they're like there's something broken that they need fixed, and that's not it. But instead, how do I come home to myself?
I absolutely love that.
So let's like focus on approaching our healing from that way of how do I come home to myself? Like, how do I feel safe in my own body again? And these are questions that you can even ask yourselves, like, how do I trust myself again? How do I stop abandoning myself again? And we're also approaching relationships differently this year. We're going to talk about secure attachment. And you all know, if you've been here for a minute, you know I'm so passionate about this and I love it so much. But we're also going to talk about secure faith. Because honestly, secure faith doesn't mean that you never doubt. Secure faith means you have an anchor, even when you're shaking. I think it's important for us to, like, that's what we hold on to, you know, like that is actually our faith is our anchor, you know? And so, all right, Kelli, this one is one of my favorite questions. So I know you'll be super excited for it.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right, you're ready for it, huh? So,
Yes.
what does obedience look like in this season? Um, because sometimes obedience looks like action. Sometimes God tells us, go, take the next
Mm-hmm.
step. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes obedience looks like rest, like just
Mm-hmm.
how I even took 40 days from social media and just was in the presence of God, just resting. So, what does it tell me, like, what obedience looks like for you?
Right. And just you saying that too, and I think you say this a lot too, just be or just even be
Yeah.
still.
Yes, because I can be very guilty of doing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I very much have that mentality of do, 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 do. And
Mm-hmm.
like God continually being like, just be.
Right. Yeah. So I think obedience right now looks like listening, like
Mm,
slowing down long enough to hear God again. And it looks like letting go of what we are forcing.
yes, I love that. Like seriously, like that even in my 40
Mm-hmm.
days, I don't want to get like super I don't want to go into that because that was just a personal time for me and being with God, but such a beautiful time of like just exactly what you said, like listening and
Mm-hmm.
hearing him and seeking him and, you know, asking him like where my future was headed, like different things with that. And so it's such a beautiful time to be able to do that, like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we've got to stop and be still to
Right.
know where we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
If we're so busy doing, what if we're totally doing what isn't the plan, what God has for us?
Right.
Then we're just spinning our wheels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's so nice, like to just let go of what we're forcing,
Mm-hmm.
because I think a lot of women are forcing outcomes
Mm-hmm.
and forcing relationships, forcing timelines, forcing healing.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2026, we are releasing that. We're, oh my gosh, this word right here. We are
Mm-hmm.
choosing surrender over control.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I feel like so much of pretty much every day, I'm saying, I surrender this to you, God. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
lay it at the altar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want that to land again. We're choosing surrender over control.
Mm-hmm.
So, why will 2026 feel different? Because the goal isn't be okay. The goal is to be true. I used to think the goal was to be strong enough and to not feel it. Well, like I knew, like going way back for sure, to like not feel it. Like I had to be strong for everybody. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was their support system and so I in some ways like I for sure think I thought I always had to be strong enough. And then of course and slowly as I continued to keep healing and I'm learning that the goal first is to feel it, of course, which we will
Mm-hmm.
talk more about that, but also, and this is big for me this year, now I think the goal is to be held while I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's really powerful.
So, like, this year is going to be less pressure and more presence. Like it's definitely going to be a slower pace.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's going to be less proving and more peace, less performing
Mm-hmm.
and more honesty, less fix me,
Mm-hmm.
and instead more hold me while I heal.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. I think just to be gentle and kind to ourselves.
And I think that is my biggest thing that I want for each woman here that is here listening to hear, and that I want them to feel. That is what I want you to feel when you come and sit with Kelli and I. I even told Kelli this earlier today. I just want you to feel held.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So, with that, here is our invitation to you. It's not an announcement. It's not you know how it typically is at the beginning of every year, like where we do our resolutions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a big new year, new you speech. That
Mm-hmm.
is not what this is. This is just an invitation to you. So if you're listening and you feel tired, if you feel behind, or if you even feel like you've been carrying too much for too long, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to stay willing, and we will walk it with you. We're not rushing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not proving. We're healing, and we're doing it together.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that being said, the two things I really want you to take away from this episode of where Kelli and I are going forward with this is that we want you to feel held. We want you to feel like this is a safe place, and that you're not alone in this, that we're walking this together. Um, the only other thing I do want to add in here, and maybe I should have said it in the beginning, but we're going to throw it at the end, and that's okay. We will be following themes now. So each month we'll have a theme, and so we can just sort of really dig into some things. And yeah, so I just want to share that we will have like each month we'll have a theme. But
Mm-hmm.
um, otherwise, I want to thank you all for being here with us today. And if this episode felt like a deep breath to you, share it with a friend that needs it too, please. Um, and as you go into this year, remember, I want you to take this with you. You are not behind. You are becoming. We send you off with so much love, and we will see you again next week.
Bye, friends.
Thank you for spending time with us on Breaking the Silence. We hope today's conversation brought you comfort, hope, and maybe even a little laughter. Because healing doesn't have to happen alone. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who might need it too. And be sure to subscribe so that you do not miss a moment with Kelli and I. Until next time, remember, you're not alone, and there's always space for you here.